What is going on, guys? It's Jake here coming at you with yet another StarCoding video talking about what other than computer science. I'm new to this YouTube's thing again, and I'm kind of figuring out the target audience. I feel like we have some new guys that are interested in programming, some intermediate programmers that are like in school doing that jazz, and people who have graduated and who I would call experts. Yes, you're experts if you made it with a BS, a bachelor's degree. Don't you worry. But to get things started and just find my leveling, I felt like I'd just make a quick video listing out some of my favorite software tools that I've used throughout the years. One of my favorite mentors once said, "You know, Jake, as a software engineer, we're kind of just like a carpenter. When a carpenter comes to your house, he has a bunch of tools to make your house function or to fix up your house. As software engineers, we have a giant tool belt ourselves. And the more tools you have at your hands, the better of a computer scientist, the better software engineer you're going to be." So I'm going to stop talking. Well, I'm going to keep talking. But let's just jump into some of these tools. One of the first tools you'll start using when you're starting your programming adventure is finding an IDE that you're comfortable with. An IDE in English is just an environment where you go to write your code. It can be Notepad, it can be, Microsoft Visual Studio, it can be IntelliJ, Atom, Xcode. I think there's Android Studio as well. There are a bunch of places where you can go to start writing your code. For me, this is Visual Studio Code, and the reason why I like it so much and why I use it on a daily basis is because of how it looks. As you can see here, for me, this is a style that I like. There are extensions made by third-party people, everyday users like ourselves here, that try to make the programming experience a little bit more fun, a little bit more intuitive. And as you can see here, we have some bracket colorization, a code spell checker, because I am awful at spelling, as well as, a linter and some icons, some custom icons, and all that jazz. Another reason why I prefer Visual Studio Code is because there is this sweet extension called Live Share, which essentially just allows you to link your GitHub accounts together to your Visual Studio window, and you can collaborate like Microsoft Docs, like Google Docs, in real time with other people when you're coding. So collaboration makes it super fun. A third and final reason that I like Visual Studio Code is the integration of a terminal within the IDE. I know that some other IDEs have a terminal, but for me, I just love how easy it is to, do your stuff. You can have multiple open kind of thing over here. And if I was running the WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux kind of thing, you could open up a Linux terminal down here. Or if you're running on Linux in general, it would be a Linux terminal that pops up. And that is so useful for if you're doing, some cybersecurity stuff, if you're doing hackathons, or if you're trying to start a full stack development project and you're working on a website. It's super helpful to have a terminal as well as your source code on the same screen. One of the second tools I want to talk about moving forward is the use of Discord. And yes, I'm sure that everyone watching this video uses Discord, but I want to talk about a specific way of using it that I think will be super helpful for you moving forward. When I used Discord back in the day, I was using it just for, my friends, my gaming groups, whatnot. So that way we could, meme, catch up, and game together. But once I got to school, I realized, oh my gosh, there is a cybersecurity Discord, there's a computer science Discord, artificial intelligence Discord, and I joined all these clubs Discord, and I realized, wow, these are just groups of people that love doing cool things that I think are cool, and I would hop in and learn something every day from some random person within the club, linking a cool article or whatnot. And then it expands further to that, to where if you went onto Reddit or something like that and just posted, hey, are there any cool Discords out there for computer science students, you could find so many communities that are just a bunch of people that are coming together. You know, I could sit and program on my own and be pretty good, but having that mastermind of people to collaborate with and, you know, bounce ideas off of will be super helpful for growing as a programmer and computer scientist in the future. For example, this is the UCF current events feed that they have in their Discord. And I mean, they have a bot that just posts news all the time. Super beneficial for me growing forward. Here, we'll shrink the screen. And there's like, you know, a CS Career Hub Discord that just talks about all your typical programming stuff, some career questions, resume review, all that jazz. Just people with a similar mindset working together. There's also a crypto hack Discord that I'm a part of here that just, you know, talks about cryptography and all that jazz. So I guess the main point that I'm trying to get across is use Discord not only to collaborate with your friends and stay connected, but make sure that you're in some computer science communities that will help you grow and help you find inspiration for doing future projects. You're feeling inspired, you're learning new things, now it's time to commit those things to memory. What I recommend for doing that is obviously taking notes. And I've been using Obsidian recently for taking notes. It's a second brain for you forever. It is free to use, and you can pay for, you know, some exclusive features like syncing, so it can sync to your phone or other computers. But if you're just using it on one device, you're all good. It is free to use. So let me open up some sample notes I have. These are my Salesforce notes that I've been taking recently. And as you can see, you know, it's fun because you can see your knowledge grow throughout time. And you can imagine having one of these, they call them vaults, for each of the topics that you're doing, and just watching your, I guess, virtual brain grow on the subject matter. And as it gets complicated, you can create filters, and we can like look up asynchronous programming. And it'll come down here. It is a fuzzy search as well, so it will find stuff all the time. So the way that these notes are, the way they actually look is through MD. So all you GitHub people, all you HTML people, hopefully you'll know what MD is. And so that means that this is like kind of just rich text. You put anything down and, you know, bada bing, bada boom. It can be pictures, it can be coding snippets. As you see here, we can like specify the language in front of the 3 backticks, and it'll highlight the things that are important. But overall, you know, this is just a place where you can kind of segment your knowledge into little MD files, and they all link together. I think if we go down to the bottom, yes, like all the way that these guys link together is with the double brackets. So if you have double brackets together, if you go to these guys, you know, that's kind of how it works. And you can also have, I guess, redirects to websites and all that jazz in here, kind of like the A tags in HTML. But yes, having a fun way to take notes, having a fun way to commit the knowledge you're learning to memory for later use is super important. We don't want to memorize things in our mind because as programmers, there are so many things to learn. We just want a place to be like, okay, I've seen that, I'm taking a note of it, and when I want to, I can just come up, Control F, and see where that kind of leads me to. So yeah, to the next one. So you're getting comfortable with programming, you're finding inspiration, you're taking notes, and you're learning. Odds are you are ready for a big project. You're ready to tackle something on your own. And I'm talking like maybe a weeks, months long project that's going to be pretty big, pretty hefty. So where do you even begin with that? If you just jump into the code and start coding willy-nilly, odds are days down the line, weeks down the line, you're going to forget something that will communicate with something else down the line, with an object, with a method, and be in total confuzzled. It's not going to be organic. You're going to have to go back in time, back into your code that you thought you were completely done with, and make edits. So to save your time in the future, think about planning for your future self. We want to have a complete logical sense of our code before we even touch an IDE. And so back in the day, you'd probably use pen and paper, But now, you can use software to handle this for you. This is Draw.io. There's also Lucidcharts and other diagramming software out there. But essentially what it does is it makes it super easy for you to just pan out your ideas on pen or on a canvas. And as you can see here, this was like a project done in the past. We have like an annual review system per se. Whatever this project's doing, it's doing something. It's an annual review system. You can see that it's getting data from 2 databases and interacting with 2 actors, 2 users in the system. And you can imagine at a later date, I could be like, okay, this is the annual review system. I could break it up and go even deeper into this functionality, find out what classes are needed, what methods are needed, what attributes are needed, and can have complete logical control of what needs to get done before even stepping into the code. And another use case for this software is UI drawing and stuff like that. I mean, you can use wireframes. That's just a fancy way of saying, hey, draw out on pen and paper what you want to do before actually coding it up. Same concept, but with user interfaces. For example, when I was making this Android Studio app, I was making an alarm clock app, and before jumping into the code, I just took the time to draw out what I wanted my user interface to look like, how I wanted it to look and feel before actually coding it. And I think overall what I'm trying to say is you might think that you're saving time by skipping the planning phase and just jumping straight into code, but I'm speaking from experience because I've done this before in the past. Like, I don't need to code it. I don't need to plan it out. I know exactly what I need to do. You will end up biting yourself in the butt, simply put. You think that you're done with this function, you think you're done with this class, and then 2 days, 3 days down the road, oh man, I needed something else from it that I didn't plan for. So overall, having a diagram software in your tool set going forward will help you save some time down the road. So to quickly recap, we want to find an IDE software that makes programming fun. We want to find a group of people, a community of people that motivate us, inspire us, that we can ask questions to, and overall just make new friends, make new connections. Thirdly, we want to actually take notes on the stuff that we're learning. I feel like in school, it's always prioritized to memorize stuff for the test. But if you take diligent notes, the things that you're doing actually just stick with you. You're like, I did this. I know what it did. And instead of memorizing and forgetting, a semester down the road, 6 months down the road, it is with you forever, which is what we want at the end of the day. And then fourthly, once we master all those 3 things, we'll be tackling bigger software projects. And when that happens, let's take the extra time to plan out logically what our code is going to do. And I know that 4 tools is by no way means enough when it comes to programming, but you can find so many videos out there of, what it takes to code and find all these really cool softwares that do really cool things. But for me personally, when it came to developing and finding my way in computer science, these were kind of the 4 tools I used, and they worked pretty good. Like I said, maybe this could use a follow-up video in the future, or maybe you just want to retype the search and watch a different video. But these 4 tools, I think, in my opinion, are going to make you an absolutely better programmer starting from scratch. But yeah, that's going to be my rant for the day. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and leave a comment if you think that there is some more software that should be added to this list.